Zach Detmore here with another video about a checklist to help you run through your construction project with a little less disaster. So let's get into it. What do you need a checklist for? Been through this before. The simple reason you need a checklist is just so you can take the simple stuff out of your head and focus on the complicated stuff. This is a checklist for things you want to look for in a renovation, maybe a new build, before the drywall contractor comes in, or if you are the drywall person, you come in, what to look for. So let's jump into it. Let's put it up here. Boom. I'll scoot over. Make sure all the blocking is installed for corner boards and joints. So that's basically just something that gets overlooked a lot. Sometimes a drywall contractor shows up, especially in renovations. Framing contractors for new construction are pretty good about this, but in renovations, people sort of get confused about what's existing and what actually needs to be modified. So make sure you have spots for the drywall to land everywhere, because if the drywall contractor needs to add that stuff, they are probably going to do an inferior job to a framer when it comes to how strong that's fastened. A lot of times when you are a drywall contractor, you put the board up and it's not until you go to screw it that you realize there's nothing in the corner. And at that point, you either have to take the board down or you just have to leave it flapping in the wind and say, oh, I'll tape that and hopefully it won't move. So you want to avoid that situation where you end up with an inferior product because of poor planning. Correct any framing deficiencies that will show up after drywall is installed. So this is common with demolition contractors. Is they're doing their best, but there's millions of nails they have to pull and they're going to miss one, or you could have knots that are sticking out, or any sort of thing that will get in the way of the drywall. Just take a look for it, and it's hard to look for them. So sometimes the best way to find these things is to drag the side of your hammer down every stud, just to make sure it's not ricocheting off of old nails and anything that protrudes. Remove any screws or nails. It's the same thing. Mark locations and photograph everything. So this really can't be overstated. It's so helpful to be able to get photographs documented, and as soon as you take them, text them to the clients, text them to your team, text them to your electrician, your plumber. It's just so helpful. You're never going to regret having those pictures after the fact. Put the camera on wide, take a video walk around, whatever it is to get the job done. You never know when the things will change and you'll end up having to mount something where there's plumbing and you're not sure if you're going to hit something. Stitch in time saves 9 with this type of stuff. Mark any areas where screws should be avoided, like where there's utilities. So a great way to do that is just mark on the floor pipes coming through, blue spray paint or red spray paint. What else? Put nail plates anywhere. This is a code required thing, and your sub-trades should do this, like an electrician, HVAC, and plumber should cover their own work, but sometimes they miss things, or maybe you want to take it a step further. Or in a retrofit, there might be existing pipes that didn't have them, and the electrician and plumber may not feel like that was on them. So I've made it a point to always have nail plates on my job, because I've had a couple instances where we were about to get inspection and I realized there's some missing, and we have to either cancel the inspection or hope the inspector doesn't notice so that we can correct it after the inspection. So I always have extra nail plates in my van on the job site, so I don't have to think about that. Flush up any proud nail plates that could hold out drywall. Use a cordless router to create a recess spot. So this is overkill in many situations, but in bathrooms where you're tiling, or if you have cabinets going on the wall, anywhere where it's important that the wall is flat, that 1/8 of an inch thickness, that bubble that's going to be created it can be problematic, so it's good to recess the nail plate in. Now, if you're doing new construction, something I don't see a lot of people doing, but you can actually just take your circular saw and plunge the blade into the 2x4 from the side, and then just bang the teeth off the nail plate and slide it in the cavity. and then you don't need a router. So it's not something you need a router for. You could use a multi-tool, you could use a chisel, but just get it flush. Mark studs on the floor for ease of install of baseboard and drywall. So, another stitch in time saves 9 if you're over a subfloor. Just walk around, mark all the studs, and it's going to make everyone's life easier when it comes to knowing where those studs are. So that's my simple, obvious checklist for drywall. Hopefully it helps you not overlook things. Feel free to download it for free on my website, detmore.com/resources. Link in the description to that. And let me know what I missed, certain things that you find that get overlooked, that are obvious, but would be helpful on this checklist. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you on the next video about organization. Take care.